Hi, I'm Joe, and this is the retell of Wilma Rudolph's story of resilience.
Hi, I'm Wilma Rudolph. I was born on June 23, 1940, in St. Bethlehem, Tennessee. I was born 2 months premature, weighing only 4.5 pounds, and contracted both scarlet fever and double pneumonia. I was the 20th child of 22. My father had 11 children with his first wife and 11 more with his second.
The doctors didn't believe you'd make it past 1 year old, but you sure did prove them wrong.
I sure did, Joe. I sure did. As I got older, I became to be a very sickly child. I would get sick really easily, so if one of my siblings got sick, I would get sick too. I also noticed that my leg was crooked, turning inward, so my mom took me to the only doctor that treated black people in Clarksville. At age 4, I was diagnosed with polio.
Wilma's left leg was paralyzed, but that didn't stop her from getting around, though.
One thing that made me most sad was I wasn't allowed to go to school because I couldn't walk. I would watch my siblings leave for school every morning. Every week, my mother and I boarded a bus and rode 45 miles to Nashville so I could have physical therapy. We had to sit in the back of the bus because we were segregated.
When Wilma was 8, she got a metal brace attached to a special shoe. This brace helped Wilma take her first steps.
One day at church, my leg was feeling especially good, so I chose to take the brace off. My leg was trembling and shaking violently as I took my first steps without the brace. I remember walking down the aisle and hearing people whisper, "Wilma Rudolph is walking again." It was a great day and a remarkable feeling.
She began to run in high school and played basketball. She was a great basketball player, but she began to compete in track. She was a sprinter, or the person who runs short distances. I won lots of races. I was so fast that I impressed Ed Temple, the track coach at Tennessee State University. He wanted me to be on his team, called the Tiger Bells. I got a full scholarship to college, and I was the first in my family to go to college. Wilma, what was the first important race you won? Well, in 1955, both the 75-yard and 100-yard dash at the Abner Athletic Union. That gave me the courage to try out for the Olympics next year. Wilma and her Tiger Bell teammate May Faggs both won spots on the U.S. Olympic team in 1956 in Merlin, Australia, and Ed Temple became their coach.
That year, I ran the 400-meter relay with the American team. We came in third place and earned a bronze medal. I promised myself that next year Olympics, I would win myself a medal.
The 1960s Olympics were in Rome, Italy, and it was very hot there. And the Olympics were going to be on TV for the first time in history.
Yes, and millions of people would be watching me, so I was extremely nervous. As if these challenges weren't enough, something awful happened the day before the race. I stepped in a hole on the practice track and twisted my ankle.
The day of the Olympics, doctors didn't think it was a good idea for her to compete, but she did anyway. Once I started running, I forgot all about the pain. I focused on running the fastest I could. I won the 100-meter dash in just over 11 seconds. Millions of people watched me receive my first Olympic gold medal. Wilma won her second gold medal during the 200-meter dash, and the crowd began to chant her name. Wilma! Wilma! Wilma's whole relay team won first-place gold medals. She received 3 gold medals during these Olympics. When did you stop running, Wilma?
I retired from running in 1962. After that, I taught school and worked as a track coach. In 1967, I joined Operation Camp, a program to coach children that didn't have anyone to teach them how to play sports. Then, in 1981, I started the Wilma Rudolph Foundation to help even more young people train in sports.
Sadly, Wilma died on November 12, 1994.
Bye-bye.
She fought a hard fight against brain cancer, but she had a very resilient life. Well, resilient means to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. For example, Wilma resembles resilience when she recovers from polio and becomes an Olympic runner. She came back strong from a difficult situation. Another example is that she stood up to segregation. When Wilma came home from the Olympics, the town threw her a parade, but it was going to be segregated. She refused to be part of it if it was segregated, so it was decided that black and white people could attend the event, and she was named Woman Athlete of the Year.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye-bye.